Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. So today I'm going to come back and have a little play with the little book of, well, it's a bite-sized book of Moonlit Moments, just to give you two ideas on how to play with that. I have brought in some other bits and pieces. There are obviously papers with the insert and paper pack, but I've brought in the duo design Radiant Roses and Delightful Dots, and I've also on one of the cards I'm going to be using some adorable scoreable gorgeous grunge, but this is matte-tastic, although it says adorable. Yeah, matte-tastic, so it's the matte, not the actual shiny. Just before I did that, I'm going to keep, no, that's for the second one, and don't leave, that's for the second one as well. Just pop these out the way. Before I do that, I just wanted to mention one thing, and it's nothing to do with Hunkydory whatsoever. I was watching Hobby Maker the other day, yesterday, and they had some Tracy Hay stamps on, and I liked some of the images, but I couldn't quite afford the bundle, so I did have a little look, googled, and found her store, and I found two stamp sets that I wanted. So I ordered those yesterday, and the show must have been on after 1 o'clock, because obviously the crafting doesn't start till 1, and it arrived today. And I'll just bring in the stamps that I got. I got these, I mean, oh my god, how cute. And then these. Okay, now the other thing they sent me, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing for me with full set syndrome, but you get a list of all the stamps, so you can tick them off as you've got them. You've got the A6 and the A5, and I think that's brilliant. I mean, like, why don't other companies do that? Do you know what I mean? Because we all struggle to keep tabs on what's on in our stash and things, and I just thought it's the first time I've ever seen a company do that, and I think it's absolutely amazing. And the other thing was, honestly, it was so beautifully packaged. It came in like a pink spotty poly bag, and then inside this was all wrapped up in tissue paper. Honestly, I felt like I'd been gifted something. It was absolutely beautiful. And stamps, they're not cheap. I mean, this was £12.95. I think that was £12.95, and I think that one was £17, the bigger one. But honestly, the receiving of it is beautiful. And how quick is that? Like yesterday afternoon. And like these ones, like there's beautiful little sentiments that you wouldn't find anywhere else, like smile and the world smiles with you, slobber and they'll put you outside. And then, like, not everyone is going to think you're gorgeous and amazing. They're wrong though, weirdos. It will never be perfect. Make it work. Be unapologetically you, with you. Love you a lot, which is what I say to my sister a lot. So that's what I was thinking about, making her a little card, because she's been having a few difficult days, you know, dealing with Anthony being gone and things. So that's why I got those. But I just thought I'd mention that, because honestly, it was just the nicest thing to get through the post today. And I was just like, I mean, obviously I've been crafting for 20 years and I've bought pretty much everything going, but I've never had a buying experience like that, and I have to tell you, I absolutely loved it. And we're back on the website again this afternoon, although I haven't bought anything yet, mainly because I know I haven't got a lot of money at the moment. So I wanted to just I need to take it easy, but I know there's already 3 stamp sets that I want, so they are on my little list. And the paper pads were gorgeous as well. But anywho, let's move away from that for a second. So let's go back to Hunkydory. Hopefully I'll do a video on it, but we'll see how it goes. I'm just looking forward to colouring them, to be honest. Okay, so for my first card, I thought I would do a little easy stepper card. So you can see I've been busy. What I'm going to do just before I start, just because I know I haven't done it yet, let's just go to there. Let me just swap that blade out. It's alright for cardstock. What I'm going to do is, just because I can't see the other ones to hand, I bought some Hunkydory blades, and it fits in this Stampin' Up one, so I was quite happy about that because they were a lot cheaper. Okay, so my normal little stepper, the template is on both my Facebook and my Pinterest page, Sybil Jones Concoctions. So I'm going to cut from 1 to 7, and then I'm going to turn that around and do the same. Well, reverse really, 7 to 1. Okay. And we'll put that away for a moment. We will need it again for our layers. And we're going to score at 1, just up to the cut line, and at 2, up to the cut line, and then 7, up to the cut line. And then I'm going to turn it over and do exactly the same again. So 1, 2, and 7. And then if I grab my little ruler, just going to put that there, and then on the inside at 6, no, let's do it right, 6 inches, so the normal halfway point of the card, because this is a 6 by 12 piece of 300 GSM white. Sorry, I didn't say that earlier. And we'll pop that in. Now we have to just be gentle while we're folding it, because obviously 5 minutes ago it was a tree, and trees don't really like to bend, although they do like to flex. So we're just going to ease that into position, and that one there. And once we've got it sort of going where we want it to, we can bring in either your sort of normal foam folder or this one. I'm just going to start giving those a really good crease down, and then gradually you'll find that the card stops resisting and starts to go with the flow. And you can see that's not quite flush, so let me just move that back so that it's square. And what I'm going to do is just go over those creases at the top again, and that should bring it back a bit better. Now it's not as neat a cut there as I would have liked, but we'll carry on. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the trimmer. See, I say it's going to be fine, and then I have to pick it up. And I am going to use, I think because it is a little book, although it's got gold tones going for it, for this first one I'm going to use some holographic silver. So the way I've worked out to make the most out of this cardstock to go onto the front of this card is I'm going to cut 2 notches off the 1 inch. So I'm measuring on the, my trimmer has measurements from 1 to 6 this way, and then 1 to 1.5 this way. So I've just taken 2 notches off the 1, and I'm going to take 2 notches off that 6. Oops, let's get that out of the way. And that's going to be that long piece that goes across there. I don't try and make this one piece. You can do if you want to, but it just takes too long and it just does my head in, so I tend to do them as smaller pieces. So these pieces here are 1 by 5, so I'm going to take 2 notches off the 1. I'm going to do that twice because I've got 1 on each side, and then I can go 2 notches under the 5, and then we've got the pieces that will go there. And then this piece here is 4 by 5. So again, we're going to take 2 notches off the 4, which is actually going to give us quite a nice size piece if you need a border somewhere. And then this trimmer just has a little lip there, which just stops me getting 2 notches under the 5. Okay, so let's get rid of those bits. And those are our layers. Okay, so for this one I thought I would do the page that I was on when I started the video, which is the floral one, this one. I'm going to take 3, but I might only need 2. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a little bit of decoupaging, but we will see. Okay, so I need to sort of bring this down to fit on here as a mat. So I'm thinking I'm going to start my cut just where that star is, there. And if I just have a look, I only need to take a bit off each side. So this needs to go down to 3 3/4. So I'm not going to take it all off one side, so I'm going to take a couple of notches off there, and then if I turn that around and do that at 3 3/4, we're going to have our plants or floral scene pretty much in the middle, and then I'm going to cut that at 4 3/4 for the length. So that is our piece as it stands, and you can see that holographic picks up those purple colours really lovely, and it sort of reflects them back out. Okay, so let me get rid of those bits because they are no good. Now for these pieces here, what I thought I would do is just take some off the ends of here. So I'm going to take 3/4 of an inch. So just pop that one there, and then I'm going to turn it around and do the same on the other side. So I'm not really looking for pattern, just looking for something that's going to tonally sort of match him. And then going to go to 4 3/4. And again 4 3/4. Okay, so those are sort of going to go on our side pieces and sort of match in. Let me pop that out the way. Now for this long piece here, I think I will bring in a piece of that grunge card. So it's just going to lighten it up just a little bit, just a little hint of it. So again, that's going to be 3/4 of an inch, and that will be by 5 3/4 because that goes over the full length of the card, pretty much. Okay, so that's just going to bring that colour back down. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and cut another one of these. I don't think it's quite 5 3/4. Oh, it is. So you could go ahead, but then the orientation might be a little bit off. If you took the furthest piece out, which was that one, it'd still look a little odd in my opinion, but you know, if it looks good to you, then go for it. Okay, so let's pop that out the way. Those are all our layers. Let's do a little bit of assembling, and then we'll see whether we decide to decoupage that up. I think I probably will. Okay, so let's grab, so the glues I'm going to be using as usual in this dispenser, I've got the Clout all-purpose glue, and then in the other one, let me just bring that in, take that little lid off, is the Clout tacky glue. I just use this in the corners just to make things stick down a little faster. So the brilliant thing about the all-purpose glue is that you do get quite a window of opportunity to move things around before it sets like concrete. That blade is not cutting this very well, but if like me, if you're trying to work a little faster when you want to get on with things, sometimes just putting that little dot of tacky glue in the corners. Means you've still got that same window, it's just not open for quite as long. It does mean you can move on to the next part of your card without worrying about everything shifting around. Right, let's open this up like I did last time when I put this together. Maybe it's annoying me. Okay. I don't like fluffy edges. But yeah. So it's the end of the festival today, isn't it? So they're going to announce tomorrow who's won the trolley. Won't be me because I haven't ordered anything. I did a big order just before, and I'm really sad that I had just renewed my magazine subscription with the Diamond membership, like literally 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, and now there's a new kit because I got the same kit I had before. So that is a big sad for me, but it's not a disaster. I still had a lovely kit, so there we go. So I'm just popping those on, and then now I have to remember which way up these go. So the flowers, those purple flowers are all pointing upwards, I believe. Yeah, because that's that side, isn't it? And then that must be that side. Okay, so for these, because this is paper, I am still going to use the all-purpose glue, but I am going to use, this is a Crafter's Companion dotty pen because this is what I had in my stash, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on those corners just to do the same job as the tacky does, really, just to get that sticking down a little faster so it's not going to move when I move on to the next. And you can see how it's splurged out there. What I'm going to say is we'll try wiping it, but I just have to be super careful that it's not going to dab it rather than, I knew there was a lump there. Oh, disaster. Well, I'm going to have to do that again because it's taken the shine off my Mary card. I can't have that. Can't have that. Right, will I get this bit off or will I have to cut that again? No, it comes off again. Okay, so that's what I say about that glue. It's a brilliant glue, don't get me wrong, but if it splurges out and hits your Mary card, it takes the shine off and gives it a sort of brushed sort of metal effect. So that was the 2 notches under the 1 and 2 notches under the 2 notches under the 5 because it was the side one. There we go. So luckily, because there is that window there, I did get the opportunity to redo that. At the end of the day, it probably wouldn't be noticed by somebody who's buying a card, but a crafter would notice it. So just going to go a little bit easier next time, which I might still be able to use that same glue on the piece if I'm quick enough. Let's just pop that on, and then now put a little bit more. Make sure I'm just spreading it around so it's not going to splurge in the wrong place. And we decided those were going upwards. There we go. I'll just be a little careful on this one. Usually this nozzle is quite good. But I think I might have just pushed a little bit hard on it. Okay, so again with these glue dots on the ends. He's talking to me again. Okay. And then to this one. And I've only recently got the mirror mats in these, and I really do love the mirror mats, especially the 6x6. Just because I don't have all that card, you know, sort of hanging around, because there's always that off piece. She's about the size of a DL really, which is handy if you make a lot of DL cards. Like I would say, if you make a lot of 7x7 or 8x8 cards, then get the full size A4 mirror card, because you will get, even if you're doing an 8x8 card, you will get a piece that's big enough to mat and layer on your DL usually. So you know, you're getting 2 for the price of 1, 2 mats for the price of 1. But if you're only or predominantly like me doing these 6x6s, then I would say it's worth just doing the 6 mirror mats, just because you haven't got all that sort of hanging around. You know what it's like. And I decided I'm going to decoupage this, so apologies. I'm just going to cut around some of these flowers, and I might just do, actually I'll use some from the other piece as well. Yeah, so you know what it's like, you sort of have all these bits hanging around, and then it sort of starts to clog up your sort of creativity, sort of, so to speak, because you sort of, takes you so long to find something as well. By the time you found it, goes on there. You sort of, let's go into the middle of this one. Yeah, by the time you found what you're looking for, yeah, you know, you sort of, the mood sometimes goes off you, or it does me anyway. I think that's why sometimes when you tidy up things, when you have an organise, you sort of feel more like crafting. You get a bit more inspired because you find the things that you've been looking for all these whiles. It's definitely easier for the bits that I have organised, for sure. And like, before I watched Crafty Calamity, I used to store my inserts, what's that one there, my inserts and my kits separately. And then I noticed, like she did, she was pulling some bits out that she had, and she stored her inserts with them. And it's a brilliant idea, and I don't know why I never did that before, because I actually have I think probably 2 A4 boxes of inserts, and I have no idea where the kits are that go with them. They are also in A4 boxes, not together, and the kits might not even be together. So like there is zero this one, isn't it? Zero organisation before I started doing videos. I have to think, that's the star, so use the stars. Okay, and I think, so we've got one of those. I'm going to do this one here. Yeah, so it's definitely easier if you've got a bit of a system going. I think that's why I like that little list as well, you know, that from that from the stamps, the Tracy Hay stamps. Because the amount of times, I mean, like the duo design pads, there's a couple of them, I've got 2 of them, which I don't mind, because you know they are lovely pads and they will get used eventually. But I could have spent that money on something else, or a different kit, or you know. Right, let's pop that back in there. Let's do these. So let's get this, and then I need to find a sentiment and a couple of gems, and then that'll be it. So I am going to be using my 6x2 1mm foam pads, purely because, as I explained before, because I took them off that reel, they are in a mess. So I did manage to take the middle of the reel out, and I have separated that and it is secure. So the ones that are on top of my computer at the moment, I'll show you it in a second so you know I'm not lying. Alright, let's just pop a little bit of glue on here so it gives us a little bit of wiggle room time. And we've got the stars there. I think that wiggle room time is more important with the papers, because you can't really get them up and down so much. So this is what they are like. Ooh, got some ribbon in there as well now. Like literally, that is it. So that's why I'm trying to work through them. I've been doing some decollage to try and, you know, because obviously the decollage usually takes a lot more of the pads than anything else, so which is nice because I really do like decollage. But I have been making really simple cards with it, so it's really sort of straight 6x6 ones. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're lovely, but I haven't been adventurous with them. Okay, so let's have a little look. So we have one that goes on there, one's there. Let's do this one. And I've just done a few simple bits of decoupage on this. I'm not going crazy. You can go, I mean, you could do all of those leaves first and then the flowers and really build it up, but I'm not going to do that today. And we have another star. Let's just go, come here, you little devil. Let's pop. That's going to be too big, so I'm going to have to go with the small ones. These are the ones that I've cut in half. It cuts in half really lovely, and actually some of the, because obviously with the decollage some of them are really tiny, I've actually cut it into thirds as well, and that's worked out really well. They are lovely foam pads to work with. Like I say, they are a little stickier than the Hunkydorys ones, so the backs are not harder to get off, but it's just different, and they are really quite nicely attached. So I'm just lining up that stem there. It's going to be the same boat with that, I'd say. Let's cut that one in half. And once you've cut them into thirds as well, it's not like they're really impossible to get that middle one off, because the side ones obviously have a bit of finger lift tape on them, but it's not impossible to get them off. So let's pop that behind there. And I didn't do that one because that one's already behind the flower, that's why I didn't do that one. Okay, move those scissors out of the way. Pick those up, pop those over there. So I just pop that into there. Those bits as well. So I've got a little glass on my desk to try and keep myself tidy with all these little bits, which is helping. Okay, so let's bring out Little Book of Sentiments 2019. So the brilliant thing is, if I don't get that up the wall, Apologies guys, the camera cut out for some reason there, so you have missed a little bit, but all I've done is from the little book of sentiments 2019, I just picked this pinky one with the silver backing. I've just put that in the middle there, and then the only other thing that I have done, so it literally is a tiny bit, I've got these Gina K Designs Galaxy sequins. So they're beautiful sort of peacock colours, greens, purples, dark blues. So I thought they would be perfect to pop on here, this card. So I've just put 3 on that side. I'm just going to go ahead, pop some on this side. Going to try and spread them out as much as the other side is. They really are lovely. They'd go lovely with the peacock image in that book, because obviously they're lovely peacock colours. So those are a lot wider. Let's just try to bring in my teeny tiny dauber. It's the matte tasket, so it doesn't show up as much when you spill the glue on that. Let's move that over. Again, use that teeny tiny dauber to go round, and then we can go there. And this one can go back. Oh, no, it's got to go the other way around. It's got to go cupward. So. Right, you're too sticky now, so let's move you over there. Let's grab a new one, not that one, this one. Still not quite spread out as those, because obviously I had to sort the, oh, that's so messy. Well, you'll forgive me that, because I don't usually make as much of a mess with those, but because the video, I noticed the video had gone, I didn't adjust those. Okay, so what I think I am going to do, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 11, 12, 18. So I was just toying with the idea . Okay, let's do it. So I was just counting the ones on the other side. So these little bits on the plant there. Just going to put a sequin on each of those. Just remembering just to clean, oh, there's 2 there. Clean the actual bit, because obviously it's going to get gluey, because these sequins have got a hole in the middle. I do quite like a sequin, I have to be honest. And I did have a load, I can't remember why I had a load, I had a whole jar of them. And I ended up giving them away to someone who made dresses for ballroom dancing. I think they were like, I'm not sure if they were my nan's, like, because it obviously come off a dress or a shirt or something. So you know this sort of whole sorry, my glue's just getting stuck up again. Sort of reuse and repurpose. You know, my nan was really still into that, because obviously she'd done it all her life with the kids and things. So I'm sure they must have come from there. But I wish I hadn't given them away now, because I would be using them. Where have you gone? Oh, it's disappeared. I'm getting quite into, I've got 2 packs of sequins now. I've got these ones that I got from Bumbleberry because I wanted a Gina K stamp, so I got myself a Gina K stamp. And I ordered these ones, these Gina K ones from there, and then I did order, when I bought out a load from Spellbinders when they had that really fantastic warehouse sale, I got some sort of Aurora Borealis-y ones. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. It's quite nice, quite gaudy and in your face. But that's just one idea of what you can do with these little books. So what I'm going to do is clear all of this down and just get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, again I'm bringing in that white 300 GSM card. That's the 12 by 6, and I'm going to make like an easel card. So I'm going to score at 3 and at 6. Obviously 6 is our halfway point. And then I'm going to bring that over, just make sure those line up. Got a good burnish down. And then again. And so my easel card is going to go like so. And I'm going to have my image coming above it. Now I have cut a little bit of the mat to size because I wanted to emboss it, so apologies about that, but let's get on with the other ones that we need to cut. So gold Miri card this time, and I need a piece for the bottom, which is going to be 2 notches of the 6 for me, because I like just that little hint of white coming through. You don't have to, you could straight mat the 6-inch gold to the base if you wanted to, if you're not particularly fond of that white edge, but I don't mind it, so I like it. I like to see that extra layer there. Okay, so this next one is going to be for here, so it's 3 by 6 is the space, but I'm just going to take 2 notches off the 3 and 2 notches off the 6. Like so. I cut my nails the other day, so I can't pick anything up again. So that's going to go there. Now the piece that I cut to hand beforehand was that grunge piece, the adorable, scoreable, gorgeous grunge in the purple. And I'm not sure, yeah, you can see that there. I've just embossed it. It's like I'll bring out the folder I used. It's this Crafter's Companion one. I don't know why it's got a hair in it, but anyway, it's kind of like the kind of flower that you usually see hummingbirds in, because I'm going to be using the hummingbird picture page. So yeah, so that's why I picked those sort of, I can't remember what it's called. It's not a lotus, because that's probably more your Japanese style. Hibiscus, isn't it? Hibiscus, that's it. So it's kind of like your hibiscus. And I decided I was going to use this sort of pinky one with the dots. So this one needs to be 2 3/4. So we have got a good piece left over by 5 3/4. Because this is just going on this little piece at the top, so you're not going to see quite so much of it. Okay, so let's grab our little hummingbird. I'm not sure on what the measurements is. I don't think I quite want him to be 6. So let's have a look. Yeah, so let's take 1/2 inch off the bottom. And 1/4 inch off the top. And I want a little bit of space until you hit that moon. Okay, so let's have a little look. So now we know it is 4.2. So let me just write this down. There we go, so 4.2 by 5.1. So now I can get a piece of gold card again, and I can go to 4 notches over the 4 and 3 notches over the 5, so 5, 1, 2, 3, and we should have hopefully a perfect gold mat. Oh no, there was something else I was going to do. Let me just grab up here. Apologies, this is my little stash of frames. That was what I was going to do. I wasn't going to do a gold frame at all, but we can save that for another day. That's fine. Now, what I will need to do though, no, I'm just going to do it as it is. So I think when I put the layers on, it is going to strengthen it. Okay, so what I'll do just before I do anything else, and this is a frame that's come from another set that I've not used. You know how I usually take the middle frame out? This is just one of those. And if I can get my, here we go, tacky glue to work, I'm just going to go around the edge and then I'll dab it off my hand so it's not flooded with glue, and then we'll leave that to sit on our image. Oops. So just dab that glue off and pop our bird in. I've got an awful memory today, so apologies, but that will set aside to dry while we do our other layers. Right, so back with the all-purpose glue. And those corners. Just bring that down just a smidge. So we're just going that way to this one. And this, if you wanted to, you could go over that with your inks to bring out that embossing. But I just really want a subtle look. I just didn't want it to be just a plain sheet of cardstock. So, and both the Adorable Scoreable and the Matastic do take embossing fantastically well. So if you have got a machine and the ability to do it, it's worth having a go and seeing what results you get, because I tend to find it works fine every time. Apart from that one time when I put the wrong sandwich in and it didn't work so well, which was pushing, to say the least. It's always when you've got that last little bit of cardstock and there's nothing that you've got in your immediate stash that you want to use. When it goes wrong, it's always just that irreplaceable piece. Okay, so this is paper again. So for this tape runner, it seems a shame to hide that beautiful rose, but to hide it I will. And then again, all-purpose glue in the middle. Just going to bring that on, and it will float. What I would say is just don't press down on those dots until you're ready for that to stick. You can see that contrasts quite nicely with those. Okay, so this should be pretty much stuck down now. So let's go around this with our scissors. Just trying to stay as close to it as I can without leaving an edge. or at least too much of an edge. If you can, it's best to sort of go under a little bit, so sometimes I find if you tilt your scissors at an angle it looks like you've gone under even if you haven't quite. This is a great way to use up those frames. I have been trying to use, I found all of a sudden, I suppose because I'm making more cards, but all of a sudden I seem to have an awful lot of them. So trying to find new ways to use them. I mean, obviously little books is the perfect way to use them up. And I have got a lot of little books. I did get rid of a load. So they do sell reasonably well, I suppose. Especially the Christmas ones did. But because they were mostly Mum's, because Mum liked the little books. She liked to make a box to put them in and give them to, oh, actually it was Anthony's girlfriend at the time, Sophie. I don't know if you've ever seen them on Crafter's Companion. They have the sort of drawers and then the sort of easel on the top. And it was a book that she'd made and decorated, and then in the drawers she put loads of other little cards with envelopes from the little pads. So in this book, there he is, I did cut him out. Now let me just see, because I think he's going to be fine on there. I don't think he's going to need any support. So let's pop this down. Obviously I need to stay within the confines of my card so that I can still get it in a 6x6 envelope. But I'm just going to use some tacky glue, not tacky glue, this is all-purpose glue on the back. I'm not going to go too high with it because I don't want to go over that edge, but I do want to give it a nice amount of support. And the brilliant thing about this all-purpose glue is that if I did happen to go over the edge, actually I could just wipe it away. Okay, so I think that's pretty much where I want him to be. I want him to be straight. There we go, so I'm happy with that now. So we'll pop him down and let him dry a little. While he's drying, what I'll do is bring in some foam pads and we'll pop them on here. I am going to put quite a lot on because this is paper, so we'll put a good amount of support on. And I would like to do a video with just little books, another one, but books, different books, not just one sort of, like this is from one set, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I did do some in the beginning, but obviously it was the old camera which wasn't which was a webcam, and I didn't like the fisheye look it had. I mean, this you do get a little bit, but not as much as that was. It was like really, it was like spy camera in a room sort of fisheye. I really didn't like it, which is why I ended up getting this camera. But I really ought to change it up for a proper video camera, because I think it might be better for me, but I'd rather buy craft stuff, to be honest. If I win the lottery, I'll buy one. Otherwise, no, it's not going to happen. Oops, get off there, you. Okay, so we weren't far off where we wanted to be. So I'm matching up his tail and these little flowers at the top. Obviously there's not really any support under his beak. Come on now. So his beak is not lined up. Let's see, is it going to let me move it? I have to cut it again. Just want to shift it around just that bit. Oh, saved. I have got a bit of glue on there. Let's bring in a little bit of tissue. I might need the glue eraser. Oh, that's gone. It's gone. There we go, saved. Phew. Okay, so that is our card as is at the moment. So the next thing I want to do is make a stopper, and I've got one of these little foiled die cuts that I've done. This, I'm not sure where the foiling is from. I think it's from a Spellbinders die, but the actual shape here, that is from the Lisa Horton Spellbinders, and it's the smile. I am slightly to most definitely obsessed. I'll show you with this set. Oops, and this, because it fits most of my foiling dies from Spellbinders. So, and I love this little rounded edge that you get. The only thing is, I wish that there was another one so you could have like a matte layer. I don't put that out because that's going to disappear. Sorry, the little die fell out. And I would be really devastated if I couldn't find it. Don't know if I'd be devastated enough to sort of search for it through everything that's on that shelf where it's at, because there is quite a lot on that shelf. When I was looking for the decoupage, you know, because I said I wanted to use up some of these pads, and I remembered I had this Hello Spring kit, which was not this year's kit, it was the last year's kit, and I wanted to use it because obviously they take a lot of pads, the decoupage, which is great for, you know, clearing some of these ones that are hanging about. And also I loved it when I saw it, and I knew I had the inserts for it. I wasn't sure if I knew where they were, mind you, but I searched everywhere. Where was it? It was down here tidy on a shelf. Not in any of the places I was looking before. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this in the middle just to hold our easel up. You can double pad that or put it on a 2mm foam pad if you want to. I'm just going to go with the one. And then now we need to think about decorating. So let's have a little look at gems. Now I am going to bring this out because I am going to be using that blue glitter. Now it's not available anymore. I bought it back when I started crafting, so 15-20 years ago, from QVC, and it came with a set. I think there's about 5 of them, and I found them the other day, and honestly you've never seen a person so happy. Okay, so I've got these lovely turquoisey gems, so I'm going to pop 1, 2 and 1 on that side, and I think I'll just go with the big ones. Let's have a nice bit of impact on there, and then I very gently put that underneath, maybe. Oh no, this is all going to go. Here we go. We'll leave it at that, and then I'm going to put 1, 2, 3 and 1, and this time I'll go with one of those big ones, 2 two of those smaller ones and one of those smaller ones on that side as well. Now if you wanted to, you could come in with another sentiment here and have that as a sub-sentiment, or you might have a die cut of a hummingbird, you know, that sort of thing. You could always come in and do that there. Obviously I am not today, so I'm just going to bring in a piece of paper. So this is the Here's For Him. I'm just probably going to move my gems, but I'm hoping I won't do. And I am going to bring in my Quickie glue pen. So all around this little bird there's like this purple light blue sparkles. So I'm just going to dot my glue pen, and you can see I'm just being totally random, just chucking it down. Alright, we will, there's one or two there. Put that back, and then I've got this beautiful turquoise glitter that matches that colour almost exactly. Put that over the top. And then very carefully to pop that off. I'll pop it back behind its little thing. And then I'm going to try and get this back in. I used to use these a lot back when I got them, and then obviously I got to put them away, because it's beautiful because you've got like the different variations. Did I put the other ones in here? Let me just have a look and I'll show you. It's a bit mean showing you when you can't get them, but it was just such a fabulous buy. One here we go, look. So it was quite expensive. I think it was like about 20 quid even back then. So they're beautiful, yeah, really good buy that was. Like I say, I found them when I was, you know, tidying. So that's always a fantastic thing about tidying, isn't it? You find things that you haven't used for ages. Okay, so that is it for today. Okay, let's bring that other one back in. So let me hold that up so that you can see that how that glitter just really picks up there. Hopefully you can, yeah, you can just see that little sparkle there. Like I say, if you wanted to ink this up so those flowers really pick up, I can see them in my light, but I don't think they show so very well on the camera there. And then obviously you've got your little stepper card. So anything that you do with a normal card, any hunky-dory, you can do with these little books. It's just a question of finding the right image and the right thing to go with it, because like all these little frames, let me just grab those again. I mean, that you could do that, that's nice and easy, do you know what I mean? And like these ones here, you don't have to necessarily have the whole image in there. The other thing you can do is cut them like into 3 pieces and then mount them individually. That looks really nice. You can also cut them into squares and mount them. You know, there's so many things you can do with these little books. They really are very versatile products. So, you know, always worth having in your stash. But that is it for Moonlit Moments for me. That's me done. What I'm going to come back with next time is the doggy decoupage. That's not what it's called, I don't think, but I'm calling it that because I do need to make a card for my sister's birthday coming up in July. So that was what I thought of immediately when I picked up that decoupage. I'm not sure if I will make a video with those Tracy Hay stamps as well. You know, it'd be nice to. and if I can come up with a nice design, I will do. But that will be an extra, so that won't be an instead of. It'll be an extra video. But that's it for today, like I say. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me. And apologies about the little cut out there, but like I say, you missed hardly anything. And I will see you next time. But until then, happy crafting. Bye bye.